Jeff Gordon, and you're watching Racing America.
Well, everybody, welcome to your favorite weekday sports talk show out of Texas. This is indeed the Revved Up Sports Show coming to you on a Wednesday evening, another hump day edition. As you can tell, we switch between Tuesdays and Wednesdays depending on schedules and all that good stuff. But you just catch us live all the time, whether we do it Tuesday, Wednesdays, Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays, whatever the day may be. Anyway, Showtime Bobby Chef right here. Rodney Rodriguez, the man on the left-hand side of your screen. We are just chilling out in the great state of Texas, talking racing, talking all things, pop culture, every kind of thing we can think of. Just no politics. We don't do politics.
That we'd have to be on all night if we went down that road. I tell you, it's a lot, man. There's a lot going on. But yeah, absolutely. Welcome in, friends. Glad to be doing it again on a Wednesday, and we've got lots to talk about. We'll talk some Texana Raceway Park, talk some South Texas racing. Somebody messaged me the other day and said, y'all need to talk more South Texas racing. Nobody else does. So we will. We'll talk some South Texas racing. So we'll get that covered for you guys. Speaking of South Texas, I mean, not really South, Bobby, but I think first thing we ought to probably do out of the box right here, pass along all the best thoughts that we can to our man, Jerry Frederick, over from Heart of Texas Speedway. The big Mod Wars show was set for, I guess starting tomorrow,
Starting tomorrow, yeah.
And some health issues there for Jerry. And I will tell you one thing, if Jerry is not able, the place does not need to be running that event, because that is one dude where that is a track owner extraordinaire. Is Jerry Frederick.
That's right. If they need it, they ask for it and they shall receive it. No expense spared there in Waco at Heart of Texas Speedway. He has definitely taken on that mantle and been the one to keep that place up and running. Wall of Fame, all that good stuff is all kept up because of that dude right there.
Jerry Friedrich is the one guy that I actually had to say no to. And it's weird what I told him no about. So it was when I was going over there, to do whatever. And then whoever had the idea to do the voiceover stuff. So I did a couple of those. And so the third, after the second time I go up there, and Jerry comes walking up, into the thing. And he's like, oh man, I really love those, man. Can you do them all year? And I said, yeah, I can do them for you. That's no problem. I'm happy to do them. That dude reaches in his pocket and he pulls out a wad of money and hands it to me. And I'm like, Jerry, for as long as it takes me to do those, I can't take that amount of money from you, buddy. but I appreciate the thought. I will take some of your money, but not that. Yeah, good guy there. All the best to Jerry. Speaking of voiceovers, and videos and hype videos and all that, there's a lot of them. They're everywhere. Look what I found. I actually found this last week and forgot to play it.
Let's go racing! Saturday night, Corpus Christi Speedway opens its 1990 racing season with more cars, more stars, more thrills, spills, and chills than ever before. South Texas best drivers battling wheel to wheel and door handle to door handle on the high-banked asphalt in pure stocks, modified stocks, and those high-flying super stocks. The best oval track stock car racing in Texas. Gates open at 6, time trials at 7, races at 8. CC Speedway between Agnes and Bear Lane on Plato Road, Saturday night, Corpus Christi Speedway.
We're keeping that one there because that's super cool, man.
Oh, the legendary Russ Martin. The standard era at which we all Texas announcers try to be. Him and Upchurch, I guess, would be the two golden tones that we all strive to be.
And I'll tell you that there, I'd really like to, because I saw the old, it was Russell Grader's Camaro that Donnie Moore drove, and then it became a Mark Kredinsky number 39, that gold car that's in there a couple of times. So that's obviously it said opening the 1990 season. So I'd like to know where that was, because it obviously was a daytime race there at some point. So to kind of figure out what that daytime race would have been, I would assume in the 88, 89 season is where they pulled some of that footage. But that's a lot of daytime footage that they had right there. And there's
it could have been a Sunday afternoon race, maybe.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. But Yeah, great CC Speedway memories there. And like you said, Russ Martin, that now that right there gets me fired up. You don't have all this zany music and shit that we all use now. That's just to the point, the action, and let's go.
Well, you
And
don't like to see the
voiceover
cars.
quite well.
You don't like to see the cars getting torn up, but that's a lot of footage. Was all the carnage that they show.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily show the racing; they show the carnage, but it's not necessarily racing that gets new fans into the gate. It's the carnage that gets new fans into the gate.
Yeah, I love the high flying super stock thing where he says high flying super stocks and one like flips over.
Yeah, somebody had a little motor or something in that deal. So
Yeah, pretty cool stuff right there. So we'll hold on to that one. I think that's on YouTube somewhere. I forget where I ran into that. I don't even know how I was in that deep hole that day. And I'm like, wow, look at this. So to try to get it converted and try to get it resized, and yeah, it took a while, but yeah, boom, there you go. So,
there's a lot of old TIDA videos if you go down the right rabbit hole on YouTube.
and I've still got it's sitting over here in the studio now. I've got the Ray Scott collection. I need to get on one of these AV consultation things, and I need to get something set up to where, because at this point, if I want to watch any of that, I have to either go get that little bitty, 12-inch TV or whatever it is that has a VCR built in that belonged to one of my kids when she was little. I either have to go get that set up or pull out the VHS player and set that up. I'd say get it all converted, but I'm not sure that I would need all of Jerry Fradrick's money to get all those converted.
Yeah, no, that's a huge collection you have over there.
It's a massive, massive collection. So anyway, good stuff right there. Big news today, Rico. So explain me this. So you sent me that, and I had just seen that as well. So Rico Abreu now, Tony Stewart Racing. So is it going to be a high limit team, or is it going to be World of Outlaws? I thought
high limit. Well, basically, they're going to run Rico's team under the Tony Stewart Racing banner, combine teams a little bit. They're going to run Rico's high limit franchise under the Tony Stewart Racing banner, and that's how they combine teams. So, I mean, I don't know if he's still going to end up running World of Outlaws anymore. Yeah. I don't know. I just know they're going to use Rico's franchise for the high limits that go into effect in 2026 to run their franchise next year. So,
okay. Well, that's one that I think is really going to be interesting moving into 2026 right now, because it, like we talked about, it seems like the two sprint car series do try to keep it somewhat more civil as compared to some other stuff that we watch, that we see firsthand, to where it's not the direct shots and the direct knee-jerk reaction from one to another. And I'm sure it's a lot worse than I know it is, because I'm not as dug in on that stuff. But I think at this point, to where when you're going to start getting into where you have to select which way you're going to go, or one's going to have more leverage or one's going to have more money, because it gets to the point where World of Outlaws, I mean, obviously the staple, it's been the longer tenured, but it just seems like high limits to me is the more high energy, the faster show, kind of the, dare I say, more hipper show. I mean, they're both great. I mean, when you get 410 sprint cars, I mean, it's really hard to dull one of them down, but it just seems like high limit has a lot of momentum and a lot of star status, I guess I would say, outside of the sprint car or the dirt track racing world.
I think a lot of it has to do with the broadcasting, and nothing against Johnny Gibson. Johnny Gibson's a great guy. I had the honor to work with him at Cotton Bowl at the beginning of the year. It's kind of like the difference between a Fox broadcast and an Amazon Prime broadcast, between the two broadcasts, between Dirt Vision and Flow. Flow just seems to have that hipness with dirt trackers, because that's what 90% of their programming is on Flow Racing, is dirt tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily with Racing America, that's where you get a good portion of your asphalt racing fix from all over the country. But, I think other than maybe Berlin, a couple of the NASCAR weekly tracks that are contracted through NASCAR to go through Flow, most of the racing on Flow's dirt track. And, we're divided in the sense that now, there for a while, and during the pandemic, everybody was a race fan.
Yeah.
Because you could sit around, if your racetrack wasn't running for some reason, you pop on a streamer and you could watch racing anywhere. And it was consumed at a race we hadn't seen in 20 years, since the early 2000s. And so I think the problem remained with that is that, as racetracks started opening back up, and here we are 5 years later, people are split again.
Yeah.
NASCAR fans don't know anything about dirt racing. The dirt racing fans don't give a shit about NASCAR. They don't care about the pavement. People don't care about dirt. Dirt doesn't care about pavement. Drag racers are still in their own little world. And, I mean, I think that it's, there before, during the pandemic, it was united we stand, divided we fall. Now we're kind of back into the divided stand again with, everybody kind of protecting their own turf.
Yeah, definitely NASCAR something we need to touch on tonight because there's just a lot, with point systems and all of that, and elimination races and TV ratings and all that. Boy, I'll tell you, we'll talk some TV numbers here in just a little bit. But I think that's where I did see that NASCAR went outside, and they always have the outside firms that come in and are going to help or whatever. And I saw the new firm that's going to come in for rebranding and not rebranding, but to kind of tailor things more to grassroots and all this, that, and the other. But I think the thing about it is where I think that the grassroots that so many people are missing when you go down that road, a lot of people now that are in that business, they don't know what that grassroots was, because it's like a lot of people will say, I want grassroots of the 2000s, the early 2000s, but then you've got people that want grassroots of the 1970s. And of course, people with the 1970s that were born in the 1970s may not be around, much longer, as I was born in the 1970s. But I think that's a lot of the disconnect, and it's just different times and all that. But flow definitely, that's a great point, because it is. I mean, you turn flow on any night and there's dirt. And I do think that just kind of literally flows right into everything that they do, to why that is such a hit right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the way it works. And then obviously when you flip on, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, flip on Racing America, and boom, there's all your pavement stuff.
Yeah.
Because obviously we know lots of people that have all subscriptions to all of them. And so it's kind of like, we know when we go to Houston, there's more people that have the Racing America subscriptions because, Houston, which by the way is running this weekend. It's pavement, right? And then when we go to the dirt tracks, everybody has either Race On or Flow or something like that. So it's kind of divided, but I mean, we love them all, just because we watch them all, and we're on a couple. So
well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing right there, to where you can really, you don't need, I mean, if you're a race fan and you don't care about any other sport, literally, I mean, just with everyone that you named right there, and then you got Speed Sport and IMCA TV and all the different ones right there. I mean, if you just use that
XR,
yeah, I mean, that's all you need, if you're a hardcore racing person and don't care about anything else, don't care about, and maybe a Netflix thing for something if you ever want to watch something outside of racing.
Apple, if you want Formula One starting in 2026.
Yeah, there you go. But it's like, and the only, well, no, let's wait for that, because then that's a long conversation when we start talking about TV numbers. But speaking of pavement, do want to give a big congratulations, our Texan Jared Maupin, who has taken the asphalt world by storm, and I guess he's pretty serious with this thing. And he and Rick Palero and these guys, because I see him missing some really big time dirt track races to go run pavement stuff. So
he's missing the Texana Clash to go run the pavement in Houston.
Well, there you go.
Going for points in Houston.
South Alabama Speedway wins in the Outlaw, so a nice run right there. It's a pretty sweet little racetrack right there. And of course, you got the Frank Grill Memorial 112 that's going to be coming up this weekend there. So that'll be a sweet little race right there. But Maupin, and then a good run as well in the Modifieds of Mayhem. So been really cool to watch him. I think a lot of it is for Jared, to where he's not that he's this on dirt as well, but I think now he's finally figured out the finesse part about it, like we talk about, because dirt, your elbows up and whatever, driving and whatever. When you get on the pavement, it is a lot more finesse. Folks say it's boring, but it's not boring. It's finesse, and he seems to have figured that out really, really quick.
Well, he's had enough time now. It's one thing where you figure out what you need at Houston, right? Little 3/8 bull ring kind of deal. That's where he cut his teeth in asphalt, because that's the closest to the house. Now he's branching out, going to Mobile, going to South Alabama, going to Montgomery, going to Pensacola, going to some of these other places that is a completely different feel than what you get in Houston. Well, I guess maybe South Alabama is a little closer, but anyway, but you know what I mean? Like, it's a different feel. And now, he's learned the aspects, because you can learn something on the bigger tracks that help you with the shorter track program. So I think that, him and John have had a year or so to start communicating on how they want to set up those BMF cars. And so, the opportunity there that they've had a chance to work together, grow together, and get all their stuff together. I think it's been a good match made in heaven. We've always said we needed somebody to hook him up, and our buddy Rick Polero is the one that finally pulled the trigger and hooked him up.
That's like Jerry Friedrich offering me a lot of money. That's a guy that you want hooking you up if you're an aspiring race car driver, because Rick spares no, whatever you want to call it, capital to get a fast race car. And Rick likes to win, and he's definitely got him a wheelman there. And I was thinking about this the other day after Caden Honeycutt won in the late model stock race for the Cars Tour, and what a hell of a well, that was something else there with Mini Tyrell and all of that.
It might have turned into a poo-poo show just a little bit.
Yeah, just a tad bit. But after Honeycutt wins that, I'm like, I'd like to see young Maupin. I'd like to see that dude in the late model stock. You want to talk about getting into something that he can get in there and just drive the piss out of. I think in the late model stock, that dude would be scary good.
Yeah, with that power to weight ratio, I think he'd have fun with it, because it will remind him a little bit of his dirt late model.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, I mean, you get in there and that thing, you got to drive it. I mean, you got to sit in there and you just got to drive the damn thing. And I think if you put them in one of those things with the stock components that they do still have, I think that look at Caden. I mean, Caden's a great example. I mean, that dude right there, you put him in a factory stock or a dirt late model or one of those things, and the dude is going to blow doors off. And if you have one of those Cars Tour late model stocks and you're looking for a dude, hit up Jared Maupin. I think that's a dude that can probably, or hell, now Rick's going to build a late model stock, and it's going to be just something else we can take credit for, Bobby.
Yeah. Well, look how well he did in the Jet Pro late model there at New Smyrna during Speed Weeks. He hopped in there. I think he got a top 5 finish out of there. First time he ever sat in a pro late model. So
absolutely,
Jared's the man. I sent him a text the other day when he won, telling him hell of a good job, and we're glad that people heard those guys here first.
That's right. And the cool thing about it is that Caden, Jared, I mean, all these guys. Caden Honeycutt, he wins a snowball derby. I text that dude when he crossed the finish line. And 15 minutes later, probably still doing all the accolades and all that shit. He's like, "Thank you so much, Rodney." And I'm like, "Now that's pretty freaking cool."
I sent him all that was going on with me the same day as the derby.
Yeah,
I sent him a text. He sent me a text a couple of days later. JC sent me a text out of the blue because he saw what all was happening on that deal. So he was like, "Hey, man, I was like, hey, you concentrate on having fun with the derby, but thanks,
And that's coming up. We're counting the days to the Snowball Derby. Night of Champions race number 1 coming up this weekend at Five Flags Speedway. So you're that close. So and we'll have extensive coverage right here on the Revved Up Sports Show. All right, let's dive in. Special guest tonight. We've got the season finale coming up this weekend. Bobby, you will be there. It is Texana Raceway Park, the beautiful Texana Raceway Park over in Flag City, USA. It is Edna, Texas. I did find out, I forget what, when I was in Uvalde, it's something, I think it's Tree City, USA. Anyway, that's random shit I'm thinking about. But yes, Flag City, USA, Edna, Texas. It is the great Monty Chamberlain that gets in here, and what a job you guys have been doing. Monty, how you doing, sir?
Doing good, gentlemen. How are y'all?
Doing good. What's the Wharton County Playboy up to tonight? You hard at it, getting ready for another busy weekend?
Yes. Matter of fact, I won't get to be at the track this weekend, which Bobby may know, but I'll be headed to Red River, New Mexico Saturday morning. But this week's been good for me. Spent the night at the granddaughter's house last night, and the wife and I spent a little time helping take care of her, the preemie, which is now 6 months old, and moving along through the week, just working, getting ready for my little getaway. Going to go to Red River with my mom and stepdad, go ride UTVs, sport UTVs. So up in the mountains. So just a little fun for a change of pace.
Love it.
So Monty, you and I talk or text basically multiple times a week, getting some stuff. What are the questions that I had for you? And feel free to answer it. It's not really an outside ball cart question. What in your mind, other than Mother Nature, has been the biggest challenge that you did not expect to have in 2025?
Well, certainly you named the one that would be the unexpected weather challenges, especially when we kicked off so good. I think another challenge that every track has to deal with is the just to be real honest, being deeper in this year, helping my buddy in our situation to run the track is sometimes the customers that don't understand a lot of the decisions you have to make, why you make the decisions, the business decisions. The track has to stay in the black because it's an independent entity. I can tell you it doesn't get rich, but that's a big deal dealing with challenges of customers. Car counts, we are in a unique rural area. It's tough. We're not, okay. Iowa is rural, but they pull cars. It's just a different world here. So we have trouble pulling cars in certain classes. It is a big challenge. But we just keep at it. And the weather is the biggest thing, always trying to get ahead of that, guess ahead of the weather for track prep, and all of those things. So other challenges, quite honestly, this year we had an awesome team that's assembled at Texana. I always call it the Texana Dream Team, and that consists of Bobby as part of that. I send out text messages throughout the week before a race. We really have an awesome team with several of them very, very tenured. One lady has been with the track for bumping 40 years. Anytime the track's been open from day one, she's been working there. Other family members of that family, Sean Klein's been around. So, I'm just putting a spin on this. That's a huge positive. We have such a well-oiled group of staff, and each little unit operates independently, and it had to this year because of this arrangement. But none of them need to have someone micromanaging. Each little group is kind of its own entity and self-driven.
And Monty, I think one of the things that's so, I definitely tip my cap for everything that you guys have done, but you mentioned that right there. You've got a hands-on yet hands-off owner that kind of empowers you guys to do your job with the team right there, but has really gone out of the way to make it because for drivers, when there's the financial part, and again, we're not going to retire doing this, but when the financial part is a lot better, Texana's done a great job, and it has shown up in the car count to where you're able to draw folks in that actually travel to go race with you guys. Kind of talk about that, because I look at stuff and it's like, if X amount, it's $1,000, it's going to be $1,000. And that's a lot of money for what we do on a Saturday night.
Right. We did the math early on, and we determined that we could offer 1,000 to win, which is kind of a carrot, an incentive for every class that had 18 or more cars. And that's kind of where the point, a lot of times you say a full field, 24. Well, here it was 18 because that would seem to work out for the numbers. We got along for a good bit of the way, and then we bumped it to guaranteed every week for factory stocks through the end of this season. That doesn't mean that'll happen forever, but for this season it was. That's a big deal, and that seemed to work. And to tell you the truth, we've had quality factory stocks competitors coming in. Names, we get Dalton when he's not committed to a big show. We've been lucky to have him come down here and compete. I believe Josh Ellender has been down and raced several races, and he's a recognizable name. Jared I heard you guys talking about Jared. He came in for a race this year early on. Many other people. And I think we do absolutely have and it's clearly posted what the purse is. 14 or if you get to 14 cars, it's this. If you're under, it's this. If you're 18, it's this, and then it's locked in. So it's very, very clear. And you have to do certain things with your physical location. You have to come up with stuff because you got to think about it. Victoria, I wouldn't call an urban area. Okay. Somewhere around 60,000 people, not tiny, but not urban. So we are 100 miles at least from the Houston area. We are 120 miles from Corpus. So we're out here in the middle of nowhere, so to speak. And you have to do some innovative things as you can to draw those cars and to hopefully incentivize people. Like there was a video that went up maybe an hour ago that KR put up. He's going to be promoting the Texana Clash, and a lot more information coming on that. And it's going to be noteworthy, especially for factory stocks, every class for that matter, but factory stocks for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know one of the things that the high points that we've been talking about all week is going to be is the points battle, and you got a couple of classes that are kind of runaways because it's not. I was checking the points and I was like, for one class I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize he's the points leader, but he'd been there every show, and top three, top fives was what the consistency is what makes you a champion. But a couple of classes, man, we've got some battles down there. I mean, we're talking 1 or 2 points separating the top 2, and then I think one class has the top 5 separated by like 20 points or something like that. So there's some battles coming up on Saturday for sure.
Yes, so just kind of talking on that for a minute, and this is exciting from the standpoint of, especially if you're a competitor. I don't know if you guys ever raced for points, but I got hung up in that at one point. So this weekend is the season points finale. Come back, 3 or 4 weeks later, we'll do the big show. But for the points, first off, for factory stocks, that's the tightest battle. We have a lady competitor, Caitlin Leonard, who's in first place in points, and Joseph Snow has been inching closer and closer every race. And as a matter of fact, going into Saturday, she's only 1 point ahead of him. So it's obviously going to come down to the wire. Limited modifieds is a close battle, not 1 point apart, but if I remember right, it's about 3 points. And so that's going to be very, very close. E-mods is super close as well. And then finally, over in hobby stocks, Lance Fireball Toller, based on historical car count, he probably has it locked up unless we get an onslaught of hobby stocks come in, and then he can't start the feature or something because all points are awarded for feature finish. He's 18 points ahead. So what I'm saying there is he would have to not start the feature and have 18 or more cars in that class. So we've been averaging 15 in hobby stocks, which is the fastest growing class out there right now. It's becoming more and more popular. So we do have a lot of storyline going into Saturday night, and it'll be a lot for Bobby to talk about on the mic. But the factory stock thing, because let's just face it, every single night where you have some cars in certain classes, this is just my view, that you might have a really dominant car that runs off and leaves everybody behind. I've hardly ever seen that at factory stock. That is such a tightly matched group. The competition is just so close. And that's why I think we're seeing this, even in a rain-shortened season, we're seeing that in this points battle. Because I think if you added 5 or 6 more races, the storyline would still be the same. Because these are the folks who are the regulars that come there, and but it's just that close, and so obviously they're finishing that well to be up there.
Yeah, and that is the thing, consistency. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, that really is what you have to do. Winning's great, but top 5s will get you in a pretty good spot. I do want to ask you, Monty, you mentioned there about with Edna, because we say it's isolated. I think that's a really good thing, honestly, when it comes to when I've seen tracks that get in trouble being in heavily populated areas for sound issues or traffic issues, whatever the case. But that being said, you mentioned the distance with Corpus, obviously the race ranch, and then the distance over to Pleasanton, obviously further down 37. But it really seems like even down in South Texas, the 3 tracks right there, and I guess you can kind of even work Cotton Bowl into that somewhat, to where it's like those 4 tracks, we'll say 4 tracks. Those 4 tracks right there really built a good base of drivers that are doing special stuff here in South Texas right now.
Yeah, they all have spectacular shows. Cotton Bowl is uniquely situated because they draw a lot of the Central Texas base. I always say Cotton Bowl has loyalists.
Yes.
They pretty much go there. They're all right in that hub. They can draw the Waco, the old Killeen folks. They can draw the College Station Arena, all of that. But they have, an awesome facility. Pleasanton had unfortunate situation with the wall this year, but they bounced back and they put on excellent shows. Corpus, man, I was down there and at Race Ranch, one of the most amazing race surfaces I had seen about a month and a half ago. And they run such an awesome, efficient show. And when you look at the customer base, by and far, all of those customers are in that Corpus circle, not the city necessarily, but Petronalis, all of that general area over there. So they all, we all have the loyalists that will come to that track. Then you have some that want to travel. And we all work well together this year about, we're going to schedule on the same nights. That's inevitable because you can't say, ooh, I'm going to race one night a month. That won't fly, right? Out of 4 tracks. But there's enough out there, and we try to do some unique things. I think moving into the future also, there's some very innovative things that are, and it's not appropriate for me to reveal those, but some very innovative things that are being tossed around for the next year or two, things that you may not normally see in this area.
So I think leaning on, and it's even some of that, even I don't know, right? And I don't need to know, right? I need to find out when everybody else does. So
Monty, I'm trying to stay out of this business. Come on now. Don't be saying shit like that or stuff like that. Sorry.
But just, you gotta, it's the new mousetrap, right? So you there's lots of thoughts going on, and to me, what I hear is exciting, but you just got to see if you can bring all those together.
Love it.
Yeah, everybody works together the best they can, but still at the end of the day, you got to worry about number one, because your business model is not the same as 37s or race ranches or Corpus or Cotton Bowl and all that. Everybody's got to look out for number one. But speaking of number one, the racetrack itself, talk about the transition. Obviously, we hear a lot about the old Shady Oak Speedway, and that was a fun track, and you're a former track champion down there and all that too. But the transition of Texana Raceway Park over the course of the last 5 years since Cord took it over has been amazing. As KR likes to say, and I agree with him, Texana is probably the best kept secret in racing right now in South Texas.
Yeah, I always like to say, and we may have touched on this before in a past show, but I always like to say that transition started 20 years ago. So, and here's why I say that. Bruce and Donna Tesh purchased the track in 2005, ran it for several years, it was like night and day when they finished with it. Move along, and always some improvements. And then when Cord got a hold of it 4.5 years ago, it was like the big stuff started happening. Big stuff. And it's just funny. I can't say this exactly either, but he ain't stopping. He's got plans this winter to do more structure, more physical property improvements, right? More to the infrastructure. And you'd think, okay, gosh, let's look at, there are air-conditioned restrooms, really air-conditioned restrooms on the general admission, the pits even. There are things that he has in mind and that he's going to do. And we're talking even long range, that he has a vision. And I don't think he's going to let off the gas on making those improvements. And you can't snap your finger and do it all in one off season. It's incremental, and it really looks like a show place right now. He takes great pride in making sure that the grounds are maintained impeccably, and then putting the investment in the property as well with structures and other improvements. I don't think that's going to be changing in the foreseeable future.
Man, that's great. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, it's his. We talk about that all the time, where a lot of folks, you may operate a racetrack, but it's really hard to invest. It's hard to invest money regardless, but it's hard to invest something into something that's not yours. And I think that's where he's in a very good spot to where he can do that. And that's, quite frankly, Monty, that's the other thing about being out is that you've got space and there's room to do a lot of cool stuff out there.
True. Yep. And you mentioned the noise. That's not an issue here because it's removed from town. However, this is a part of the community. This track is part of the community. It is part, it's like a family. The community benefits from the racetrack financially. There are vendors, the store vendors, the fuel vendors. I see folks stopping at those places all the time, and people recognize that. It's a local venue that the locals love. And yeah, maybe if I was sitting in my backyard 4 miles away, I might hear it, but it's not like a lot of places where you have now a subdivision that bumped up right against you. I guess the biggest thing about this place is it's just like any other business. It's an important part of the community. It's not just in the community, it's part of the community.
Excellent.
Yeah, you can't talk to somebody from Jackson County that doesn't know what Texana Raceway Park is. That's the good thing
Right.
about it. The biggest thing, we need to put a schedule. Remind me to we need to get Mickey and them to put a schedule or give a schedule to the Whataburger down there so they know which races are race nights, so they can have some extra staff so we don't have to wait around an hour to get a burger on early Sunday morning, late Saturday night.
It won't help.
I don't know. Yeah, that's rough. I've been in there with KR at like 2 a.m. waiting on a cold burger.
That's part of. I mean, that's kind of just part of a race night. You got to get stuck at the Whataburger, right?
I guess
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
But the overall feel, right? I mean, of the you and Cord had to jump in with both feet because Cord's openly said to me, to you on this show, he's not a promoter. He doesn't want to be a promoter. But I think that you guys together as a team have done a really good job of bouncing ideas off each other and making it work. I think that's the biggest thing that's been the theme of 2025 is making it work. You know, rain was killer on everybody for 6, I think 5 out of 6 races got rained out right there in the middle of the spring and summer. And, somehow, some way, everybody pulled together and made it work. So I think that's the best thing that we can say about 2025, other than the competition's been good and all that good stuff. We're talking kind of behind the scenes, but I just think that, you and Cord were buddies before. Has it ended up adding any extra stress, or you guys just still hunky dory like it was when you first started?
We are, and thank you, by the way, for saying the other things about how we've done this year in spite of those challenges. Thank you. Cord and I are incredible friends. I've known Cord now for a little over 5 years, and that's what drew me, because of his personality, his humbleness drew me to want to do this. And I just got to reflect on how we got to where we're at. We had to make some quick decisions last year, and we thought we had someone who was going to lease the track. We were excited. So, he and I guess I grabbed Cord when we had to make a decision last July and said, what do you want to do? So we decided we could put on a couple of races together, and we kind of wrapped up the season. That was nice. Had some fun, and that turned out to be fun because we were fresh. Everybody loves a fresh face.
Yep.
So we didn't have a track record, so they loved us. And that was fun. And we said we were looking for somebody to lease it. We had that all lined up. We had a contract ready. And, I respect this because the person decided last second, it's just not a good fit in my life right now. So Cord and I had talked, and we had an undesirable plan B. The plan B was me and him. And that meaning, that he had the ability to fund what we needed to do, and I had the ability to talk and write. And so I leaned into some of my historical stuff I'd done with the track, and we tackled it. And, we got a schedule out early. We did a lot of things very, very early because we wanted people to know that we're real, and we did that on purpose. But it was accidental to a degree, but because really what drove this whole thing was the fact that he wouldn't own the track if he didn't love dirt track racing. And he wants it to be a notable venue. You hit the nail on the head. He does not want to run it. He does not want to be getting phone calls on Saturday. He would love to have it in a setting where he has people he can trust that just take care of it, right? And then, so that wasn't but I told him I don't want a job. So I wanted to help my friend. If it becomes a job, it's not fun. I don't want to be paid. We're going to do this as buddies. And so that's exactly how we tackled it. And that was important to me to work with Cord because we are buddies. If I turn it into a job, it's no longer fun. And then I am basically feel stressed to perform to a certain standard. That's the way I felt about it. So it was fun. It's been fun this year. We have things in the hopper to deploy for 2026 in a different manner. But we held this ship together, and we're able to showcase the property, and we hope we can do that again in October to people who have never seen it. We
Absolutely.
hope some people will come visit who haven't. I think excitement is always around the track. This weekend, there's a lot of excitement because it is going to come down to the wire on some of those points battles. And then we're going to celebrate on October 4th. We're going to celebrate, and there are cash awards. If I've got a minute, I don't know if I should rush along, but I did want to tell you one innovative thing we came up with. We haven't had points awards with cash incentives in a long, long time. You get a trophy, it's fellowship night, that's great. Usually people have to pay to go to a banquet, okay? And you have to because there's expenses. Well, we have a free banquet and free food, free everything. And I came up with the idea of let's get 50-50 tickets back in play this year. So we got that. We got a young man who sells them. He gets a set rate every night, whether he sells 200, 100, whatever, he gets $50. Okay. But the pot you split in half, the winner gets half the pot. We peel off $50 for the young man. The rest of it goes into the points fund. And it's real. That money is kept in my safe at my house, counted every race, and I have an accounting sheet for it. So here's the deal: $2,800 in point money is going to be awarded at our banquet for the 4 major classes at the track, the 4 big car classes. So we sold a nice amount of 50-50 tickets. And then the track and Magnum Services is shoring it up further to make it that $2,800. And it'll be 400, 200, 100, first, second, and third for all the 4 big car classes. And we'll give that away on October 4th.
Excellent, man. It's old. This track is like you're talking about the relationship with Cord. I mean, you guys, it's homegrown. It's old school. It's everything, in my opinion, it's everything that's missing in racing. And I think that's why it's old is new. And I think that's why it's worked so great for you guys. And then on top of that, just an unbelievable facility. Monty, so let's we'll pull it up here one more time. So kind of for this Saturday night, the season finale right there. You talked about point championships. You've got guests that are coming in as well. Kind of talk about that, because not only do you get all of your regular TRP action, but you get a full night of racing, to say the least.
Yes, sir. And I sure don't want to be neglectful and not mention them. We have first the South Texas Dirt Truck Series coming in for their 3rd and final visit of the year. They bring a very organized show with their group, and easy to work with. Then we have this will be our 2nd attempt to have this year, but the DCRST Powder Puff Spectacular. I think they're looking at least 15 entries in that, and that'll be exciting. But the ladies are going to get their chance this time. The weather forecast looks awesome as of this minute. They were scheduled earlier this year, so we talked to the promoter, Dwayne Groff, and he said, can we bring that back? Well, we kind of have a full card with the truck, so he said, yep, let's get it. And so those guys are coming. And at the very end of the night, we had a request and a sponsor step up to pay some money. Once everything's done, there are mechanics races, and those will be broken down into 2 groups: fender cars and open wheel cars, 2 different groups. So a big night, big night, fun night ahead. And we love those 2 visitors that are coming. A lot of suspense and excitement built up with the points battles that are coming. I mean, seriously, 3 of them are going to come right down to the wire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it should be fun. I mean, it's the season finale for points, but we still got the Clash to go down there. So I know KR is excited about it. He had Mother Nature wasn't as kind to him at all this year for any of his races, whether it be Rocket or Stems or the summer shootout. But yeah, I think he's fully vested and ready to roll for the Clash after we get done with this weekend. So I'll be there. I know you'll have fun there in New Mexico, but I'll be there, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and ready to roll, and we'll make the best we can of it and have another good time down at Texana Raceway Park.
Yes, it'll be a good night. I want to also say thank you guys for giving us some time on here and having me on. We'd love to talk Texana, and always appreciate when you extend an invitation to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime, Monty. Love what you guys are doing, and the show is here for you guys. So just let us know. Probably do it again before the Clash, if that works for you. And I'll reach out to you. I know you and I had kind of talked about some stuff before, so I'll get all that firmed up, and we'll go from there. But looking forward to the weekend. Congratulations on a really cool thing you guys are doing, man.
Thank you, sir. Y'all have a good night.
All right, bud. Take care.
See you, Monty.
Bye-bye.
You
Bye.
bet. There he goes, Monty Chamberlain, and that really is the thing. Everything that he was talking about right there, that's what's missing in racing, to where you want the feel that place has. That's what's missing in the local tracks. And there are things, but the track has just done a tremendous job despite all of the odds, to be able to have, I mean, it and more to come. It's pretty damn impressive, dude.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've heard some of the projects that are going to be there throughout the years. One of them I can't wait for, assuming he's going to do it, because I think that's been one of the biggest requested upgrades that he's heard over the last couple of years. But he's done it right, and like Monty said, you can't do every single improvement in one off season. He's done, basically one big project every off season. This last year he did two. One was mid season when he had to put in the drainage system on the backstretch. And then he remodeled the bathroom. So those were two good things. And, some of the stuff he's got planned, they buried the electrical stuff in the pit so that not as many poles would get knocked over in the event of a hurricane and stuff like that. Obviously we got the new press box this year. So there's been a lot of cool capital improvements, and more to come. And so I think that it's, it is definitely Cord's baby, and he loves that place. And he's the driving force behind making Texana great again.
Absolutely. Be sure and check out Texana Raceway Park on Facebook, and follow along right there with everything that's going on. Again, it's a regular season finale coming up here September the 20th on Saturday. Big night of action, full night of action. Then you got the Texana Clash that'll be coming up in October, and the details will continue to roll about that. Our show presented by On Demand Shirts, the great folks, James Cole. You heard him a couple of weeks ago right here out of San Antonio, the official apparel provider of the Revved Up Sports Show, and they can take care of you like they take care of a bunch of different race teams and a bunch of multi-million-dollar companies, because that's exactly what they do. They're more than shirts. They're on-demand shirts.
You've probably seen us all over the racing world and doing a lot of racing designs for events and race teams, but we also do a lot of stuff from small boutiques in small cities all the way up to Fortune 500 companies. Your brand deserves to be seen. We print on more than just shirts, hats, jackets, bags, and much, much more. Custom corporate branding starts here.
Welcome to the My Race Pass app, the #1 app for motorsports fans. We want to make sure you get the most out of your My Race Pass app experience. With your new free account, you can use the My Race Pass app to see race day information, including event entries and official lineups and results for over 600 organizations across North America. You can also see track information and purchase online event tickets for select tracks. With your free account, you can also search for a track or series on the My Race Pass app and favorite their profile to receive news and race day notifications on your mobile device. To see more information and to see which app subscription is best for you, be sure to visit getmrpapp.com. My Race Pass, the ultimate racing resource.
Hey, I'm Ross Chastain, and you're watching Racing America.
Great conversation with Monty Chamberlain, Texana Raceway Park, as we get set to finish up the regular season coming up out there. Also, as he was talking about, Bobby, you've got I-37, that's Pleasanton. That's the other track that we talked about. So that's, when we talk about that would be, I guess, what we would say San Antonio, when people say the San Antonio track, which it's really
basically
not.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like saying that Coda's in it. It's like saying Coda's in Austin.
Yeah.
What about 3 times the length from San Antonio?
Yeah, it's like it's between Corpus and San Antonio, a little closer to San Antonio. So I guess we'd say that off of I-37. You've got an interesting thing that I'm looking forward to this week, and I've got football duties this week for the University of Texas. But of course, I won't be doing that till probably 10 o'clock with what I have to do. So I'll be checking out some Texas racing and checking out the South Alabama Speedway, of course, Pensacola on Friday night. But the Fireball and the factory stock divisions are going to be combined, and they're racing for no points. So this is where I would think the Fireball's pretty unlimited, right? And then the factory stock's more restricted. Am I crazy to say that the Fireballs are going to put an ass whooping on the factory stocks?
No, I think it's going to be. I think when you have the bigger tire, is the equalizer, because the Fireballs don't get to run the huge tire, but they get to run. They're going to be a little lighter, a little bigger engine. But I don't know. I think it's a good test.
Yeah,
just to see how that's going to be, because a lot of the Fireballs are old asphalt, pro late models and old super stocks. So with Camaro front clips, so it'll be interesting to see how those things goes. They go head to head against a metric chassis. So I'm interested in how that turns out, because we get a lot of requests out of Texana to run the Fireballs. Well, we tried that and had 2 show up. So.
Of course. That is going to be a pretty interesting little test right there, but I'll be curious to see, because obviously with and again, this is where you kind of wish the tracks weren't going to head to head, so to speak, because I think predominantly the factory stocks are going to be at y'all's place. I mean, I would be, I mean, not taking a shot at 37, but for the money factor and so forth, I think that's probably where they'll be. But it will be really cool to see how that all works itself out right there. And I saw the Fireball guys where it's like, does that mean we can run the 10-inch tire? Like, come on, man, you already have a little bit of an advantage right there. So yeah, good test by Ray and the folks out there at 37, and great job by them on the comeback, being able to bounce back after, like Monty talked about. They've had a rough go. They've had a
few rainouts like Texana did, and then they had that wall fall down, and that was just glad to see them get back to racing.
That's it. Because that's a very healthy base there as well, is 37. Lastly, when it comes to the Texas stuff on the dirt track scene, you've got when James Cole was on here, and now you're starting to see more information trickle out about coming up October 11th. It'll be there during Oktoberfest at Cotton Bowl Speedway, our friends at Cotton Bowl Speedway. You've got the Stems race that's going to be happening there, $2,500 to win, $250 to start there on the big, massive Cotton Bowl Speedway. So I think that's one that folks probably ought to pencil into the calendar, to where as long as everything holds out weather-wise and so forth, which it should be great. I think most of October is going to be good for all these races, to be honest with you. That's going to be one hell of a little show right there for Stems to kind of finish everything up, button up 2025.
Yeah, and it's guaranteed money, whether they get 5 cars or 45 cars. I have a feeling for $2,500 to win, they'll be running at least 1, if not 2 B mains out of that deal.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to be stacked. And oh, by the way, also with 37 coming up at 37, you've got they've got a mod show. Of course, we talked about Mod War being canceled over at Heart of Texas, but they've got modifieds over at I-37. So I don't think that it would be a massive folks that were going to make the move, because this race was, the word came out, I think, early enough for a lot of folks that maybe were going to travel to where they're not going to travel. But modifieds at I-37. So if you were dead set on seeing IMCA modifieds and the big mods, you can make your way to Pleasanton and get them there. They'll have them for you.
Yeah, Mod Wars. That's kind of a sad deal about Mod Wars getting canceled, but I appreciate the promoters and the powers that be at that race for making the call early. Yeah. So that because you had teams coming from all over the country coming for that $50,000 to win. So
yeah, absolutely.
That was good.
Yeah. Top of the show, we were talking about kind of some of the NASCAR stuff. Let me get to some of the comments here right quick and see if we've got anything. Folks checking in there to talk to Monty. And again, Monty, just such a joy to talk to. Really, really cool stuff that he had right there. There you go. Our man Shane, Louisiana, he's going the other way. So yeah, there's still lots of places to go race. But we were talking about kind of with the NASCAR stuff, and we do have a couple of bits of sound that we can pull up, just kind of because the conversation is the point system, and you've got two guys that we both have spoken with, and I do think highly of both of those guys, but they seem to kind of be the ones that are kind of dropping little tidbits of whatever could happen. I think it's pretty solidified what the NASCAR point system's going to be, but still there's just a lot of back and forth and bitching and moaning, and everybody has ideas, what's going to work. But I think that Jordan Bianchi and Jeff Gluck, I mean, I think these guys have pretty much figured out, and I think that we all have figured out that we need to kind of hone into what they're talking about, because they're on those committees, and this is where I talk about when, like, the grassroots stuff, to where it's like a lot of people that are in these committees and all of these different things. Yeah, I know that they've been in this for a while, but they don't understand the true grassroots, and I think that that's where some of that disconnect is. That a lot of people that want the grassroots, for one, it's just not possible anymore. You can't do that stuff anymore, but the folks in the know that are able to empower and do things and make decisions and have a say, they don't exactly know what the grassroots is, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah. Well, it's like the same people we were talking about it when you watch a replay. We got to see it this morning on the NASCAR channel after the morning drive, or at least I did. You were probably on Chaos Theory at that time. They were doing a Jimmy Johnson special for Jimmy Johnson's birthday.
Oh, is that what that was? I saw
they
had one of his races on.
Yeah, that's what it was today. I think today's his birthday.
Oh,
on his 50th birthday. So they were showing pictures and videos from races in the late, the mid 2000s up into the early 2010s, and the places are all sold out. Do I think we'll ever get back to that point on that national level? Probably not. But the TV ratings are, per capita, everything's down but the NFL, and now college football's back, and you can't really compete with that either, some of them. But to get back on track, I think that it's hard to get, the same people that 2 years ago, before this next gen car came out, were saying how bad and horrible the COT car looked and how bad those races were, are now trying to say how great those races are and how great that car was. And it really wasn't. And if it was that great, they'd still be racing it and not have to go to the Gen 6 car.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. And the whole thing is, I mean, you can't go back on a lot of that. And now the thing is, when folks talk about, racetracks taking stands out and decreased bleachers and putting covers over whatever, the thing is, I mean, this sport is very much a 60 to maybe 80,000. If you can draw that's a good day, excluding the Daytona 500. I guess maybe the Brickyard.
The tentpole races should get 100,000.
Yeah.
If they can hold it. I mean, the Southern 500, had 65,000 people.
Yeah.
But Darlington holds 65,000 people.
Yeah. And honestly, what I've come to the conclusion is, so on Sunday, you had the Philadelphia, the Kansas City game, the matchup right there, the Super Bowl rematch, whatever it was, wound up being a good game. I mean, the thing is, it really didn't feel like a good game, but 20-17 would tell you that it's a good game. That drew 34 million people. And the numbers came out today. What was NASCAR? 1.056, or the numbers were down. It's still the second rated. I think I saw second rated sports event, I guess, other than golf or whatever. There was no PGA. The LPGA was on.
Well, it's also on a Saturday night too, going head to head against college football.
Exactly. I don't know college football numbers, but then you had the Canelo fight. The Canelo fight on late. I am talking about late Saturday night. I mean, this was.
Is this from Vegas? Wasn't it in Vegas?
Yeah. This was after A&M and Notre Dame. By the time that Canelo and Bud got out there, Crawford, 41.4 million people watched that. And that's
huge. That's huge numbers.
That's on Netflix, to where it's like, oh, streaming.
It didn't crash. It didn't crash this time, did it?
No, it didn't crash. Didn't crash. I was able to get to that, a little bit towards the end of the night, but that's a lot of people. And I think honestly, the answer is right now with NASCAR. I just think that people probably not a popular. Well, it probably is a popular thing. People don't need it every week. People don't need to watch the Cup stuff every week. I think there's just too many races. 38 races in Cup, 33 in Xfinity, 25 in the trucks. F1 runs 24. IndyCar, just releasing their schedule, runs 17. Somewhere between 17 and 38. 38 is just too many. 38 is too many. The car doesn't race well. The TV quality that you mentioned, I mean, depending, to me, the best TV that we saw was the streaming.
It was Amazon Prime,
By far. And that's where everybody has an opinion on the point system. But
it was the number 2 sport. I looked up the tweet. It was the number 2 sporting event of the weekend that wasn't college football.
That wasn't college football. Okay.
Or NFL.
Yeah. So that's golf. Well, that's it.
1.8 last year, 1.5, 1.5 million viewers.
Yeah.
And that's against college football. That's still not bad. They didn't have too many marquee matchups. I mean, the A&M Notre Dame game was okay. I mean, it was a good game. Don't get me wrong, but like as far as like a marquee matchups, most of them took place in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Georgia, Tennessee. I don't know who else was on Saturday night, but
the A&M game was the marquee.
That was the marquee game on Saturday night. I couldn't even tell you who was playing on ABC and ESPN.
Yeah. But so Jeff Burton came to the forefront where he talked about where, TV emphatically, TV's not the one that, drives all of this. And I don't know, but what I took out a lot of that one, and you can find a lot of that sound of Jeff Burton where he was on, what was that, Door Bumper Clear, I guess is what that was. But where he was talking about where people bitch about the playoffs, but then maybe they don't sometimes.
That as far as do they want a playoff or not, I would imagine, look, most people I talk to, they are by themselves, not with a group of friends or whatever. Most people by far like the playoffs away from their buddies. Yeah. When they get in a pack, then they'll be like, whoa, whatever he said. But when you get away and you say, hey, man, like most people, and it's not even close, like the playoffs, a version of the playoffs.
So, like I've talked about.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, I've talked about it on here before.
I tend to want to believe that. I tend to want to believe that. I mean, I get the full 36 thing. I don't know, to where it's like you said with that Russ Martin thing, where people want the drama and people want the whatever. We're not getting it, so I think that's the problem. But the playoff thing has worked. I mean, people weren't bitching when Kyle Busch won the championship after being injured all year, and then Tony Stewart stormed back and won. Those are teams that probably shouldn't have been champions. I don't remember the outcry then like it is with Joey Logano. I think with Joey Logano, if this wasn't Joey Logano, I'm not sure we'd have all this going on.
Chase Elliott. I read an interesting stat today. Did you know that the sport's most popular driver, Chase Elliott, since the beginning of the next gen car, has the exact same number of wins as Ricky Stenhouse Jr.?
What's that? 3, 4? 3. Yeah. There's your needle mover right there. I mean, and that's where when people want to get worked up about this guy saying this, eventually, well, maybe he won't say it. Anyway, about Denny Hamlin having that personality and, calling out, you're going to get run over by the hype train or whatever. That's somebody's got to do it because the popular guy looks disinterested and looks asleep sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, he squeaked in by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah. Well, hell,
at Bristol. I thought Bristol was there. I went back and I got to watch a majority of it because I didn't have a race to go to. In the UTSA game, I got to listen to part of it on MRN or PRN, and then got to watch the rest of it when I got home. I thought it was a decent race. That's my thing. I don't give a damn if it's a playoff race. I don't care if it's a season-ending race, a cutoff race, a regular race. I just want to see a damn good race. I don't care where it comes on the season. I don't care where it sits on the schedule. I just want to see a damn good race. That's all I'm concerned about. If it's a playoff race and somebody gets eliminated, that's kind of a bonus.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with Chase, like when Chase goes out, and hell of a hit by him, and I still, again, I don't want anybody hurt. I don't want stuff tore up. But when these cars bounce off the wall, that one, obviously you saw some damage to it. But when they bounce off and just spin around and drive off, they look like video game cars to me. Like when you crash in the video game. And then,
as we said, the car is too good. The car is too over-engineered. That's the problem.
It really is, and it is the car. It is a car thing. That's the thing. But you can't change that. Well, I guess you can, but how are you going to change that? Because then the teams are going to have to spend more money, and you've already got
take the downforce out of it and add more horsepower. That solves 75% of the problem right there.
I think that.
But you can't add horsepower if you want Honda and Hyundai to come back in because they don't have production V8s.
Exactly.
But they'll eventually come in. The reason the horsepower numbers are where it's at because a turbocharged V6 can make about the same amount of horsepower as a toned down V8. Because what you're going to see within the next 5 years in NASCAR, you will see 2 more manufacturers join the series. You'll see Dodge come back, but has access to a V8.
Ram.
No, Rams and trucks. Rams and
trucks. Okay, that's right. Cars. You're right.
But you're going to see Dodge come back. They got a V8. And then you're going to see either Hyundai or Honda come in. If Honda stops making the IndyCar engines, they're coming to NASCAR. It's that simple.
And when Honda comes in, they're going to be like Toyota. They're going to come in.
And what they're going to do is they're going to run a turbocharged V6 based off an IndyCar motor or even a Formula One motor to a certain extent. And they're going to have to do like the IMSA rules where, and it works in IMSA to a certain extent when you got all these different manufacturers all running half-ass the same engines, but not really. The balance of performance, that's what NASCAR is going to be in 5 years. And I think it's going to have to be to survive. You're going to have Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Toyota, Honda, or Hyundai. That's going to be your 5 manufacturers. If NASCAR's lucky, they get both. They get Hyundai
and I hope they do because I think there's teams. I think there's like Chevrolet. I mean, there are Chevrolet teams that it's Hendrick and I guess Trackhouse. I mean, because RCR is supposed to be a staple team. They don't operate like. They're better. They're better, but the Chevrolet teams that get left out. I mean, Legacy. What Legacy's done with Toyota. Not even really like being in the fleet. It's like, damn, those teams right there, if you get more manufacturers in, that gives you better competition, which equals better races, I think. So
I think that's all that's going to happen.
I hope that happens. But so then our man Kenny Wallace, where Burton says, it's not TV. TV's not involved. Coffee with Kenny this morning.
TV don't have anything to do with NASCAR. They don't make any of the decisions. And the mayor said, I know, because he says, I'm in the meetings. Really? Okay. Maybe not NBC.
There you go. And he went on to say, like with Fox determines stuff. And it really is because that's the biggest. They're paying the most for this shit, right? It's like we can sit here and say whatever. And yeah, it sucks that a family of 10, 5, 6, 8, whatever can't go to a race. And I totally feel that. It's very expensive to go. But TV dictates everything, especially since people don't want to go anymore,
But there's a reason why there's a double header in Phoenix.
Yeah.
Because that's already going to think about the race coverage that weekend with IndyCar and NASCAR doing a double header and both races are on Fox. Watch for that to be a big time rating weekend in 2026.
And the nice thing about that, when is that? You said March? That's in March.
It's March 8th, I think.
What else is happening then? I mean, it's that early part of the season where you have the splash from Daytona, and then you get into that, and what do you go? Daytona, Atlanta, Coda, and then you start getting into that, and you've got the weekend. You have got the weekend. That's why I just hope that Fox doesn't shit the bed.
It's the weekend after Coda, 3rd race of the year.
Oh wow, that's
4th race of the year, because it's Daytona, Atlanta, Coda, Phoenix.
Yeah. Well, there you go. And I love that. An IndyCar NASCAR Cup weekend. I think that's great. That's long overdue. And quite frankly, we've mentioned it, Bobby, so many times. Formula One don't need nobody. Formula One just does what they do. They can have horrible races. They can have whatever. This year's been a little bit better, but they can do whatever they want to do. And they're going to get eyeballs and they're going to fill they fill it up on you know, we're going to clean the toilet day before the race, and fans show up for that shit for Formula One. But I think the more that IndyCar and NASCAR kind of help each other out and do each other a solid, I think that bodes for them both, because they both need a lot of help. Let's be very transparent right here, especially IndyCar. They need a lot of help.
They need more social relevancy. If that sounds harsh, but who the hell is Alex Palou?
You know,
when most people still think that Dale Jr. drives a race car and NASCAR is way more mainstream than IndyCar, that's a problem. They need each other's help. The only thing missing on that IndyCar schedule was two things: COTA and the Roval.
Mm-hmm.
They got to come to the Roval. Why the IndyCars are not coming to the Roval, I have no idea. That solves a half a problem, because everybody wants to have another oval race. Well, now you kind of half-ass have one, and it's a hybrid. Like that's the perfect place for an IndyCar race.
I think the biggest thing, and they did it a little more. They did it a little more this year, but I think that the one that you can kind of, for IndyCar, that you can kind of hang your whatever on and you just stuff in front of people, where if you want to get some crossover from NASCAR, if you want to do that, your guy is Newgarden. That really seems like the guy that kind of seems like a NASCAR guy. You know, he really seems like a NASCAR guy, and you get some of these dudes to where it is, to where you would think of Palou, and it's like, and the dude is amazing.
He's elite.
Yeah.
But nobody knows who the hell he is.
Yeah.
We've been saying that for 3 years on this show.
Right. That's a dude where it's like, shit, if I'm him, that dude ought to be the one going to Formula One. Don't waste your time coming to NASCAR. I mean, you're going to get in some shitty ride, and you're going to have, a bad OEM, and you're going to sit there and spin your wheels and become irrelevant. I mean, go do something else. But Newgarden is kind of the guy, and
like
Will
Dario
Power.
Franchitti did?
Yeah, exactly. Will Power, maybe, just because a lot of people kind of with the Penske thing, will kind of know who Will Power is. But again, then folks could get all twisted up and bent out of shape because that dude's Australian. You get folks that don't like SVG because he's not from here. So I don't know. But yeah, Newgarden is really the guy to me that I think could, if that's even in the works. I don't know, but I'm just glad they finally got a damn race together, the two series.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And then the trucks are joining the Indy cars at St. Pete on the street course at St. Pete. That's an unusual. It's not the first time the IndyCar and the trucks race together. They did it for 25 years at Texas Motor Speedway just fine.
Man,
I know. Don't get you started on TMS not being on the calendar.
I know that Indy at TMS. I just think that would be so great, but whatever. And that's, somebody said, well, it's because it's in your state. I'm like, well, yeah, it's in my state, but still, I mean, I just think that's
but it's not the same thing as going to Arlington.
Yeah, exactly.
Grand Prix of Arlington.
And I just think that I think that next year's Texas race for the Cup cars, I mean, I think is going to be great, because I think that track is finally coming into its own again. Just don't change it. Although I don't think that they're going to be changing anything there.
Well, it's the off week is Easter for Cup Series, because that's when the Xfinity and the trucks go back to Rockingham, assuming Rockingham races with all the cluster that's going on over there. Then you got Bristol, Kansas, Talladega, Texas, Watkins Glen, and the All-Star race at Dover.
Hey, there you go. It's good section of racing right there. And again, that's in that off period, because really,
that date at Watkins Glen is going to piss people off, because that date at Watkins Glen's always been towards the end of the year.
Yeah,
or the back half of the schedule anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Late August, early September. It's always been right in there. So
yeah, we've got the off season to dive into that, but we got races to finish up. So here we go into round 2, and of course, calls for change. Let's get the point system figured out. Kenny also took a shot at Mark Martin. Like, I love Mark Martin, but I'm like, all right, Mark, let's give it a rest. Kenny Wallace did too. Well, I guess that one's not going to play either. Come on, man.
To change the championship points next year. This is the third time I said they're going to run a 3 or 4 race playoff next year. It's going to be called the Mark Martin playoffs. I love you, Mark.
Yeah, last thing, everything we've heard is 3-3-4.
Yeah. Makes the most sense.
But then what do you do? You have 8 guys racing for the final 4 races?
I guess I've heard it could be maybe 6 that race for the Cup, for the NASCAR Cup. I don't know. Maybe a curveball in there. Let's ask Jordan Bianchi and those guys. They'll keep.
Maybe Junior will spoil it again like he did the Tony Stewart Rico Abreu thing.
I know, right? It was like, come on, man, give these people a little bit of a break, man. You're the media mogul here. Let's let these guys enjoy their moment. But that's all right. He may, and he's involved in this shit too. He's got some say. He's like, oh shucks, shit. That's a first dude I call. Dale, what do you want to do? What do you
think we should do?
Yeah, what would you watch? What would you glow about?
Because he was not a fan of taking the All-Star race to Dover.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, man. Great program. Monty Chamberlain joining us, Texana Raceway Park, our featured track this week. There it is, coming up, season finale, regular season finale, September 20th. That is on Saturday night. Get on out there, follow them on the Facebook. You'll hear the golden tones there. My man Bobby Chaffee, he'll be on site right there bringing you all the action. So be sure and get on there and check it out. And if you're not going, you can't go, you can catch it over on Race On. All right, dude, rest of the week I'm bacheloring for a couple of days, and then I've got some stuff on Saturday. I think I've got something on Sunday too. Oh yeah, I got to go work a soccer game on Sunday, not as a referee.
No, the good news is it's New Hampshire, so you'll have pretty much a Sunday off.
Yeah. It's not
why that race got back in the playoffs. I don't know.
Not upset about missing that one.
Yeah, I'm not upset about missing that one either. So who knows? Maybe I'll do something if I don't stay too late down at Texana. Maybe I'll get back Sunday, go somewhere with the missus. Coming up. Oh, before we go and before your food gets here, we almost missed the most important announcement ever. And you forgot too, even though I told you a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I did.
The show's birthday is on Saturday.
Oh, is that right? On
That's
Saturday?
Right. September 20th, first show, 2016.
I might have
coming
to go
up on 9 years.
I might have to go celebrate by myself a round of golf. I think that's what I'm going to go do because I've got all day and most of the night before I have to do anything. So yeah, maybe a round of golf. That's a lot of years.
Yeah, 9 years.
September
20th, 2016.
And it all started with an iPhone 5C. Oh no, actually,
and we didn't even have we weren't even video at that point.
Yeah, it's all audio. I don't even remember what we used back then, but yeah, how about that? Now look at all the fancy shit we got over here now. You pull up graphics. We got the drama queen sign right here for all the dirt people that want to be mad all the time. We got the days of our lives for all the drama that we have going on.
Yeah.
And then, luckily since we got a hold of this, we haven't had to give our rainout report.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Haven't had to use that one. So yeah. How about that? Yeah. A lot of years, man. That's 9 years. Damn. So going on 10. Look at that. How about that?
And remember, it's only supposed to be 10 races. Yeah. We're only supposed to talk about the 10 race playoff for NASCAR.
Yeah. And here we are 9 seasons later.
And people still bitching about the playoffs.
Yeah. Playoffs sucked then and they suck now. I'd like to say that I think we actually liked the playoffs then. And me personally still kind of like them now.
Yeah. So I just want to see a good race. I don't care when it is.
You got that shit right. All right, my man. All of you, thank you for hopping in with us again. Early next week, we will have our next program. It doesn't seem that's the nice thing about it now, to where it doesn't really seem like it matters whether it's Tuesday or Wednesday or hell, even the times we've done it Thursday. We get the nice influx of folks checking in. And remember, we're always live, so you can comment. If you totally disagree with something that we say, feel free to say that. We're not going to block you. As long as you don't insult us totally, we'll let you speak. So that's what it's all about. It's hashtag Real Race Talk, ain't that right?
All right. That's what it started with. That's what's going to be. And stay tuned, as we don't have an off season.
Yes.
We go on. We may miss a couple of weeks here or there just to, due to scheduling conflicts and whatever, but the show never stops. And an interesting thing that we're working on, just to pull the curtain back for this off season, so to speak, when the races aren't going on, even though they go on pretty much, we'll have everything covered from the Derby all the way through Chili Bowl, is we will be looking at making revved up replays. So all of those that don't realize, all of the NASCAR Hall of Famers and world famous guests we've had on this program and our other programs, you'll get a chance to hear the replay coming up over the off season, along with a fresh batch of racing legend and legacy interviews.
That's right. Absolutely. So y'all stay tuned. Hey, there's your QR code straight to the ODS Revved Up merchandise store. If you're just so blown away by this that you're like, man, I got to have a Revved Up cap. Well, there you go, right there. Scan that, and 100% of the proceeds go to us. So, so yeah, buy all that shit. Buy all that, not shit. Buy all that stuff. All of that stuff. All right, friends. Thank you again for being a part of the program. We appreciate it very much. Seriously, thank you for, I guess, now 9 years of following along. We know we've got a lot of people that have been along with us the whole time, so we appreciate it. Again, thoughts, Jerry Friedrich. Get well, my man. Sorry, for everything the family's going through there. But we'll do it again next week from deep in the heart of Texas. That's Showtime Bobby Chaffee there. I'm Rodney Rodriguez. See you next week for more #Real Race Talk. It is the Revved Up Sports Show. Be well, everybody.